Hey everybody, welcome back to Inside EPW. I'm your host Gene Jackson, and what a show we have in store for you this time around. We'll hear from our favorite EPW correspondent, Roman McPeak, as Roman checks in to talk with us about what we saw on episode 227 with the NWA World Heavyweight Championship match as the champion, Thrill Billy Silas Mason, came to town to defend against the problem, Aaron Roberts. And in fact, I got an opportunity to speak with the head of Bad Man Inc. this past weekend there, and you'll see that a little bit later on in the show. I also sat down with EPW announcer Alan Pounds, and you can hear Alan each week doing the ring announcing and conducting interviews at ringside on EPW Wrestling. Well, this week, we'll talk with Alan and let you learn a little bit about the man behind the microphone. Plus, our EPW flashback match this week will be from last year's Fury in the Fifth, when the former WWE superstar James Ellsworth challenged then EPW heavyweight champion Marco Hangtime Harris. Neil Taylor's going to join me to watch that match to share his memories of not only the match, but some other fun facts about that big event as we prepare for Fury in the Fifth 2 coming up on Saturday, March the 7th in Union Center. If you're on EPW social media pages, then you already know the huge news. The legend himself, the enforcer, Double A Arn Anderson, will be there for Fury in the Fifth 2, along with his son, Brock Anderson, plus the innovator of violence, Tommy Dreamer, Richard Holiday and his signature move, and so many more will be on hand in Union Center. And you want to hear the best part? Admission is free. That's right. You come to the show, you pay nothing to get in and see a night of EPW action you will not soon forget. If you want to know more about it, check out EPWWrestlingMS.com. We got a lot happening here on Inside EPW for episode 2. I had a chance to speak with the EPW heavyweight champion, Dorian Vane. Talked in person there this past weekend at the arena, and believe it or not, he wasn't happy to see me. Also, you'll hear an exclusive interview with Playmaker Zay Washington. You'll hear my conversation with DDT Diana Taylor as we talk a little bit about that recent match with Eli Knox. And as I mentioned, our flashback match involves Marco Harris. So right now, let's flash back to a fun conversation that Roman McPeak had with Marco just a few weeks ago. And then we'll get right into the show. Stick around. You don't want to miss any of this.
What's up, guys? Roman McPeak here, and I got the EPW champion, Marco Harris, three-time champion. So, Marco, you're from the same kind of area I'm from Jackson, Tennessee. I'm from Lexington. One thing that it just popped in my head when we were talking about where we were from, where's some good eats in Jackson? If somebody goes through Jackson, Tennessee.
Good eats.
You got to put them on the spot, man. Tell them where they're going to get filled up.
That's the thing. Other people have different types of diets. I'm on a different type of diet right now. So, simple spots. I mean, tropical smoothie. How can you go wrong with tropical smoothies? The smoothies?
Yes.
Great.
I just had one the other day.
Great.
They're great. They're amazing.
What else we got? Can't go wrong with Mexican food. You love Mexican food. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you can almost not mess it up.
Backyard barbecue.
Yes.
Backyard barbecue, Jackson, Tennessee. I love you. You get the baked potatoes right.
It's kind of back in there too. Like you got to look for it.
It's an old gym. My mom took me all the time when I was a kid. I love it. What else? You gotta think. Restaurant-wise, I'm not really much of a restaurant guy. I like to get my food and take it home and just eat it. That's it.
What would be the quick? If you just want in and out.
In and out. Something quick. Oscar's Taco Shop. California burrito. Get it every time. Cannot miss.
That's pretty new.
Cannot miss. It is.
I have not been there yet. I'm about to go there. I'll probably go there tomorrow.
You got to go there.
Well, we just got done with Crossroads Clash at EPW. Marco, I'm just going to straight up say it. The last time he went against James Ellsworth, he screwed you out of the title. He had his little goons, screw you out of the title. Tried to screw you again tonight. But Bone Crusher said, nah, this ain't happening.
Sir.
Restart the match, and as y'all can see, got it back.
Three times.
Three-time champion.
Yes, sir. James did try to screw me out in Union.
We can edit it out. Enzo. Hey, brother. Have a good night.
Is that him?
That's Enzo right there. That's him talking.
There you go.
How you doing?
There you go.
I can't do it as good. I can't do it as good.
But James back in the Union City tried to screw me out of the title. The Order tried to screw me out of the title
once again,
and they did. They got away with it. A little slimy, but it's okay. Bone had me this time. Made sure everything was in check. Made him tap out to the figure 4.
Yes.
Woo! Made him tap to the figure 4. So all's well. Year 3, belt 3 times.
And you were 2023 EPW Wrestler of the Year.
Yes, sir.
It's already looking like 2025.
And on forward. And
who knows?
Yes, sir.
But speaking of, James Ellsworth likes to call himself a TV legend. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you watched wrestling growing up, or you probably wouldn't have been a wrestler.
Yes, sir.
Who were some of the TV legends that you grew up kind of idolized, maybe even, crafted your game?
Gotcha. Well, for I would say older generation, you gotta go with Eddie. Eddie is my all time. Modern now, obviously, AJ's just my GOAT. Sadly, Ellsworth, 3-0 to AJ, the GOAT. But
but were they legitimate though?
Legit?
They count. It's kind of, he beat him the way he kind of
exactly. So if anything, does it mean I can get a match with AJ?
Hey, I'd love to see it.
I'd love to see too. But AJ, Eddie, and then honestly, like I throw a lot of people off with this. One of my favorite wrestlers now, Lee Moriarty. He honestly got me into it. I was watching him around the time I was wanting to start. And obviously everyone has that kind of moment where it's like, do I want to do this? Do I really want to do this? But watching him and Darius Lockhart enjoy wrestling, that match, that made me want to do this. And that's when I got into it. And I was like, I got to go full head about it. That's all I wanted to do.
And from everything I've seen, you've been doing great. I saw you the first time at Memphis Wrestling about a month ago with Bosby, that time limit draw.
Yes, sir.
What y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna run it back, or have you already ran it back?
We did run it back actually today, but it didn't count. We don't count that.
Well,
we don't count
We're not gonna talk about that. Never mind. He got screwed somehow. I just know it. Yep. That's how it had to have happened.
Always. It's just always something. Can never be a clean win with me. But it's okay though. Because next time I do see Bosby, wherever it might be, EPW, Memphis, it doesn't matter, on your road, I'm gonna beat him. I have to beat him. EPW champion now. Got to.
Gotta win. Win.
Yes, sir.
Well, I've held you long enough. Everybody's left.
Yep.
We're basically the only ones here. But I'm glad I got to meet you, Marco. Glad you gave me some of your time. I really do appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And, man, safe travels getting home.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right, man.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hey, we're back here on Inside EPW, and I'm joined now. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty. We don't have him on video, but we can hear him. Just to make sure, Mr. Alan Pounds, are you there?
I'm here. Hello, Gene. It's good to talk with you.
You too, man. You too. Your main selling point is your voice, so at least we got that. I guess it would be a weird interview if we could just see you and not hear you. So if you have to pick one or the other, this is the optimal one for what we're doing here.
It looks like that's all you're going to get tonight.
Well, if you want to see Alan, tune in to any of the recent episodes of EPW Wrestling. You will see Alan right along ringside there announcing and doing some interviews, and he wears a few different hats for EPW. But Alan, it's a pleasure to have you here, man. And it's funny there at EPW, you've got one of the best seats in the house. I mean, you're right there next to the ring. On occasion, I've even seen some guys almost end up in your lap on some of those dives.
Oh, I think Marco Harris jumps at me just about every time he has a show
He's
down
aiming for you, it seems like sometimes. It's like
And
if
I'm
I
sure
get to Allen, I know I jumped high.
and I'm sure that looks great on the hard cam, but it's it's a little unsettling when you see these guys flying right at you.
Absolutely. I've thought of that, watching it and you see him, it's like if you're watching at home, it's like he's diving into your living room. And I'm thinking, but in reality, he's diving into Allen's lap out there is what's actually happening. You just can't tell from that angle.
I have caught a few here and there. So
You have. I'm trying to think, taping before last, I mean, somebody literally like landed in your lap over there. I was like, oh my gosh. But I can't think of who it was. It wasn't Marco that time, but it may have been a match
I can't remember. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember who it was right offhand now.
Yeah. So
I do remember that happening though.
I'm sure. I'm sure you do. You'd remember it better than I would. But so getting to sit there and have that, ringside seat more or less. This is Inside EPW, so we're going to obviously lean more towards that. What's some matches that have really stood out to you that maybe you kind of got lost in them and you're the ring announcer, but you're into the match? I know over there at commentary a lot of times we get sucked into the moment and there's some exciting stuff that goes on.
Well, I enjoy watching all of them. I have to say though, one of the most exciting experiences that I had was just a couple of weeks ago when Thrillbilly Silas Mason came in, and I got to get up in the ring and introduce an NWA World Heavyweight Championship match. That was a thrill for me because I'd grown up, with the history and the heritage of that title, and seeing it on all these great guys that I'd grown up watching, and then here I am in the ring face to face looking at this belt and looking at the champion that we have now. And that was probably one of the more exciting times that I've had in professional wrestling. Otherwise, in EPW and in some other areas as well, some of the big thrills to me are being able to introduce and interact with, honestly, some of my heroes. Some of the guys that I grew up watching. Like I've had the pleasure of introducing Jerry Lawler probably a half a dozen times over the years. I've introduced Bill Dundee a few times and interacted with him. He was always one of my favorites when I was a kid growing up. And then of course EPW is bringing in all these big names. We've had the Brooklyn Brawler was there a few months ago. Downtown Bruno I've worked with several times and absolutely cannot speak enough positive about him. He's one of my favorite guys.
He's the greatest guy. I was a huge fan of him as a kid. Me and my dad would always laugh at all the funny stuff he would say, and then to grow up and then get to be around him and get to know him and see he's such a good dude. It's nice. You know what I mean? Like there's some people that you grow up watching and you're a fan of, then you get to meet them and it's disappointing. But most of these guys that I've had the opportunity to work with and around and get to meet have all been, super cool and I mean, like I say, it's kind of surreal. I kind of felt the same way you did. I'm like, hey, I'm out here getting to do commentary on an NWA World Title match, the same belt that Jack Briscoe and the Funks and Harley Race and Flair and all these guys held, and here they are in Boonville, and it was really kind of cool because Silas started out there early in his career in Boonville and went on and. Yeah,
that was a little before my time, but I had heard that he'd been there, some time back, kind of career going down there.
Yeah, so it was a real full circle moment for the fans there. I wasn't around during that time; it was during the period I had moved off to Alabama and wasn't there much. But I remember reading, he was part of that Mason-Dixon line tag team, and I remember reading that name and results all the time. At the time when I was over here, and so that's cool.
And Devin Dixon was another one that I've gotten to work with a few times back when I was working with TCW. He was on some of our shows there back a few years ago. So,
yeah, I don't know, man. You get to have some cool moments in the wrestling business and meet some really great people. I mean, I know sometimes wrestling has a bad reputation, but Neil was on the last episode, and I was telling him, I was like, man, I've been in a lot of locker rooms over the years, and EPW has one of the most professional, locker rooms where everybody's so super supportive of each other. Everybody's really cool. Nobody's griping about what they're doing or not doing or any of that kind of stuff. Everybody's just really laid back, and it's just a really fun, supportive atmosphere, at least from my experience anyway.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have been welcomed and treated well by all of the guys. I've not had any kind of negativity whatsoever in my interaction with any of them. It's been a really positive experience.
So, how is it? It's one thing to do the ring announcing, but you get to do a lot of the interviews and everything. Do you enjoy that aspect of it? Is it a little more nerve-wracking doing that, or how do you like that aspect of the position?
It is a little bit. I'm getting accustomed to doing that, and I actually enjoy it. I love interacting with the wrestlers and the managers and doing the interviews. I've got to tell you, I think the last one I did, I interviewed Dorian Vane just like a couple of weeks ago or so, and just standing there listening to him talk, I could just feel, I thought Ric Flair was going to pop out of his body. I could just feel the intensity that he had in that interview. And that's exciting to be able to witness that firsthand.
There's a lot of people talking about, especially since it aired, the people who were there, but then it aired over, last weekend. And it was kind of a breakout promo for him. I was interviewing K-Swiss earlier for another podcast, and we kind of had a conversation about how, Dorian's been a great talker. Always has been. But for me, what I felt sitting 10 feet away, and you were closer than I was, is what really made that is I don't feel like that was the head of state talking. Like, that was him. Like, those things he was telling, that was personal stuff that he actually, that he's done in his life. And I think that he felt some kind of way about, Aaron getting that world title match. And it came out, and man, when it's real, you can feel it, and that was definitely a moment where I felt like he leveled up, and he let everybody see a part of him that wasn't a wrestling character, it wasn't a gimmick, it was, this is me, I'm mad, and you're going to hear about it, and you're going to hear why I think I should be the one in that match. And man, I don't think there wasn't anybody in that building that wasn't moved by it, but I can imagine being right there next to him as you were. Yeah. I'm sure you felt it more than anybody.
He laid it out there, and I actually sent him a message after the show, telling him I thought it was a great interview that he did. That I felt like that was 100% from the heart.
Yes.
And to me, that's what makes it real when it is real. That he was just laying it out there, and it wasn't the wrestler. Like you said, it was Dorian, the person coming through. 100%.
You always hear the really successful guys. Yeah, you always hear the really successful people say, when they became themselves, just turning up the volume, that's when it happened for them. Steve Austin, The Rock, different people say when they tapped into being who they are and just turning it up, that's when it happens. And I think if there's ever going to be a moment that you can point back to and go, this is the moment the switch flipped for Dorian, I think we saw it that night. And I think that's a promo that people are going to go back to for a long time, because I think Dorian's going to be a guy that's he's going to continue to excel in EPW, and I think, the sky's the limit of where he can go in the business overall.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's going to go nothing but up for him.
Well, Van, we've got this big event coming up. Last year they had the big Fury in the 5th in Union Center. I wasn't there. I was just kind of dipping in and out doing I was the stand-in announcer commentator last year, and I wasn't here for that. But we got this year's coming up, and man, they've announced it already. We can say it here. It's already out there. How cool is it that the Enforcer Arn Anderson is coming to EPW?
Oh, as soon as I saw the announcement on Facebook, I immediately sent Neil Taylor a message. I said, Arn Anderson? ? I said, that's the coolest announcement I have seen in a long time. And it really is, because, I grew up watching the Four Horsemen and, all of that as they reign supreme. And of the Horsemen, really, Arn was always one of my favorite ones anyway.
Yes.
So I'm excited about seeing him coming in to our show with EPW coming up.
Yeah, there's been some really big names come through the doors of EPW, but I don't think any bigger than Arn, because Arn, I was talking about this with Swiss earlier. Arn had his Hall of Fame career in the ring, and then after that, he went on to be a producer, and he produced some of the biggest stars, future Hall of Famers, and some of the biggest WrestleMania and pay-per-view matches in history. He's a very creative guy, and so he had his hand in a lot of the matches that people have seen in the last 15 years. They don't even realize it. It had Arn's fingerprints all over them. So just a really, really cool thing for EPW and the fans. I hope everybody, wherever you're at, if you're hearing this, you need to make your way to Union Center, because Arn is not going to stop with Arn, and we know Richard Holiday and his finisher is coming. And I hear there's a few more surprises up the sleeve, so I can't wait. You start with Arn, man. I don't know where you go from there, so it should be awesome.
Well, as far as his creativity, I heard back years ago, he was actually the one that came up with the idea of the Four Horsemen.
Yes.
All just basically off the top of his head. Spur of the moment, from the heart, like we were talking about earlier. He saw what was there and went with it, and look what that became.
Yeah.
One of the most well-known factions ever.
The story goes that they were just doing one of those, Saturday morning, the shows they recorded on Saturday mornings there at the studio in Atlanta, and they were running low on time. They kind of crammed Arn and Ole together with Tully and Rick.
Kind of a summary promo, sort of.
Yeah, and Arn said he just kind of looked around and said, "You're looking at the Four Horsemen of professional wrestling." And Tony Schiavone tells that after it was over with, he's like, "I think you're on to something.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
you might have just come
And
up with
boy, were
something."
they.
And boy, I mean, every faction. If you're a younger person, whatever faction you like, whether it's DX or the Bullet Club or any of the million that's come past, they all started with the Four Horsemen. Yeah, there had been groups and managers had, Devastation Incorporated, but the group that made it cool to be a group in professional wrestling was Four Horsemen, and Arn was he come up with the name, and he was the nucleus of it. He was the consistency of it. So yeah, man, that's really exciting. I'm hyped about it. I've been talking about it on everything I've been doing for EPW, because I just can't stress enough what a big deal that is to me, anyway.
Well, and I think the difference with them and maybe some other groups or factions or whatever, anytime any of the other guys that would come together in stables, usually it was just kind of a mishmash of whoever, sort of.
Yeah.
But when you looked at the Horsemen, they always presented themselves, whether you liked them or whether you hated them, they always kind of presented themselves as top-notch, classy looking, at least, with the suits and the ties and carried themselves differently.
Yeah, everybody else was more of a, hey, we're a bunch of guys who all have this same manager,
right?
Dangerous Alliance and different things like that. But this was a unit of guys who collectively was more than they were singularly, and it wasn't just because they were managed by, because originally it was Dylan just managed Tully, and then he just kind of de facto became all of their manager, but that took time to happen. So but anyway, we won't turn this into a Four Horsemen podcast, although we easily could, and I think people would keep listening. But we're going to stay on point and wrap this up here in a second. But man, I wanted to get you on here, and just, I know people get to see you at ringside, and they hear you ring announce, and they get to hear you interview people. But there's not a moment on television where guys like us can kind of get on there and you can kind of get a feel for who you are and why you're here. So that's kind of what this show exists for. I want Inside EPW to be where you can go and dig a little deeper and find out a few more things that there's not always time to do on television, and get to know, like, hey, what's up with that Allen guy? Now people know how you got in the business and how long you've been a fan, and I think it's cool to have that kind of insight and kind of know something about folks. And I appreciate you taking the time to do this, man.
Well, I think this is a really good concept that you've got. I watched the first episode the other day and really enjoyed it. I think it's going to be a great thing, bringing in different people and just let them talk. I think it's a great
I
concept.
think so. I'm excited about it, and everybody I've talked to with EPW is excited about it. So I appreciate it, man. I thank you for, like I said, I thank you for watching it and the kind words and for coming on and doing it. And we'll have you back again. Like I say, I'm going to be touching base with different people from time to time and just kind of talking about things that are going on and, kind of getting your thoughts on things. Because like I said, nobody's got a better ringside seat than you do right there. And sometimes you get to be a part of the action whether you want to or not.
That's right. Well, I appreciate you having me on. It's been a great experience and look forward to doing some more in the future.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Alan. Take care, and hey, I'll see you Saturday night.
Always wanted to be in the professional wrestling business? The EPW Wrestling Academy is now enrolling. Visit EPWWrestlingMS.com for all the details on how to make your dreams a reality. Do you have what it takes?
You see, I have a problem. I don't usually get emotional over certain things. This is towards you, Aaron. When you try to squash my boy, I don't really get too emotional over that. What I do get emotional over is a simple fact that you really think that you're the baddest man on both sides of the Mississippi. That's what I'm emotional over. To the point to where you want to take opportunities from me. You want to sit here and take my championship slot against Silas Mason for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. That's for me. I am the EPW Heavyweight Champion. That's me. I'm so sick and tired of people putting Aaron on a pedestal. He's a man around here. That's me. You ain't nowhere near like me. You ain't been through none of the stuff I've been through, Aaron, for you to sit here and say that. Those of you who don't know, I'm a real-life combat veteran around here. 12 years. You understand me? You ain't never... You see this right here, Aaron? You see this right here? One shoulder's lower than the other one. You want to know why? You ain't never been through a rollover accident like I did. You ain't never been through a rollover accident, pull your 240 out, and pull guard for your guys around you. You ain't never had to do that. You ain't never had to shoot, move, and communicate like I did, Aaron. Never. You ain't paid the price like I have as a man. You ain't paid the price in life like I have. You shut your mouths.
Wow.
You ain't put your life on the line to live like me, Aaron. I'm the man around here. I'm the guy around here, not you. You ain't paid the price in life. You ain't paid the price as a man to do anything with me to say that you're the baddest man on both sides of the Mississippi. I am. I'm the baddest man on both sides of the Mississippi. That's why I'm the EPW Heavyweight Champion. That's why I'm the guy around here. I'm going to show you, Aaron. I'm going to show you. By the numbers, I'm going to show you, Aaron, that you are going to pay the price, that you are going to pay the price in life. I'm going to show you what it's like to be a man around here, Aaron. Not you. You're a little boy, Aaron, compared to me. Do you understand me? I'm the man. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that is an executive order.
Hey, we're back here on Inside EPW with our ace correspondent, Roman McPeak. Roman, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Another week, still here, so hey, pretty good.
That's good. Yeah, still here. We didn't get all the crazy weather that you guys got over there. We didn't get any ice. We didn't get any of that nonsense over in Alabama. So the one time that it pays to live in Alabama, I guess. But got that going for us.
Usually it's not the best thing, but I guess it worked out.
I'll take it. That's all I can ask for right now. But speaking of things this past week, this will be dropping after, there will have been another episode of EPW come out by the time this comes out on this coming Sunday evening. But as we sit here, the most recent episode that dropped this past weekend of EPW, of course, featured the NWA World Heavyweight title match between Silas Mason and Aaron Roberts. And I definitely want to get your thoughts on that. But something I thought was very interesting, sitting at the commentary table as the two teams come out and I realize what's happening, and I want to kind of get a fan's perspective on it. What did you think of that opening match where the Order, Izzy Rotten and Ethan Ross, along with Hollywood Jimmy, defended the tag team titles against the Initiative? So you got two bad guy teams, if you will, going at it here. Who are you pulling for, if anybody?
That was one of those situations where, they're coming out and you see, it's like, okay, it's like it's not necessarily who you root for. It's like, who do I want to lose the least, I guess, out of these guys. And so I was just like, I don't know, who do you root for? Because like a part of me is kind of like, the Order's been running things, so maybe I should go for the Initiative, a little change. But then I remember, everything that's happened with them and parental advisory, and I'm just like, maybe I don't want to root for these guys. And then at the end of it, I didn't have to root for either one because parental advisory came out, broke it up. So it kind of ended in a good way because there was technically a winner, but belts didn't change or anything. So. Right.
When the Initiative got so lost into that feud with parental advisory, it felt like they kind of abandoned, they've all been all about them tag team titles all along here in EPW, and it felt like they kind of let their eyes off the prize, if you will, and kind of got hung up on taking out parental advisory, and it felt like, all right, they're getting back on course here. We're going for what, we expect out of them. But did you forget what you did to parental advisory last week? You run out in the middle of the match they were having, you beat them down, you attacked their father. You think those guys wasn't coming looking for revenge? And what better way to get revenge than cost the Initiative the tag team titles? Because like you say, those guys, they're all about that gold. And, to a degree, the Order has kind of... it's kind of worked out well for them because those two teams were so busy over here fighting each other that neither team was really looking at the tag titles, and the Order were just kind of able to move on without them. It was interesting having Hollywood Jimmy at ringside, then you got the matriarch at ringside, and to me, me and Joey were talking on commentary. That's going to be the factor. Who's going to be able to interfere? And Jimmy got a trip in. Aaron Ann got a trip in there, so they were pretty evenly matched until the matriarch pulled out the trump card.
Yeah, that was one of the things. Yeah, I saw that. When you were just saying that, I was thinking, I was like, what? I was like, we know how to distract Jimmy. Okay, pretty simple. Okay, costs about $1.99. $2.19 depending on where you're at, state tax and stuff. We know how to. I was like, what does the Order need to do to distract the matriarch? What we don't really know as far as I know, other than what can they do to distract her, other than maybe there's like 20 people in the Order, so they can all just like block her off or whatever.
Yeah.
But that'd be interesting to see if they can figure out a way to maybe neutralize her ringside, because she knows what to do. I got a firsthand account of it. I was right there. I seen it. I busted out laughing. I thought it was hilarious. And then watching it back on the episode was even more hilarious. And commenting on it about it, Jimmy saw my video or something, comment on it, and he's like, "How dare you?" I'm just like, "You're the one who fell for a Snickers, man. It ain't me." I was like, "You got caught. You got caught red-handed."
And the champ was none too happy about it. He comes out there, he snatches a Snickers bar, and he's not a guy that eats a lot of Snickers bars, I don't think, but he bit about half of it off just to get Jimmy's head back in the game, and he did. But unfortunately, parental advisory had other plans. But it was interesting. It was fun to see two teams like that square off and see who could outwit the other with the managers and all that. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see more of that in the future. But I think for right now, the Initiative's going to have their hands full with parental advisory, as it's been announced as we record this. It will probably have already happened by the time it drops, but there's going to be was it a dog collar match? I think they said this weekend.
Yeah, I've seen that announcement. That'll be interesting.
That's going to be a tough one. I mean, I know them guys want revenge, but Trace Hunt and Jason Genesis are veterans, and I don't know if I want to be chained together by the neck with them, but we'll see how that works out for them. We put it off as long as we could. Let's talk about it. NWA World Heavyweight Championship match right there in Booneville at the Burchell Arena. The legacy of the NWA title. It was kind of cool for a guy like me, my age, that grew up seeing, Harley Race defend the title and Flair and Garvin and reading about Jack Briscoe and the Funks and all these guys. To have the title with that kind of legacy defended there in EPW. It's not the first time. It's been defended there a few times, but it's the first time I ever got to call the match, so it meant more to me anyway. And I don't know if you know this, because I know you're a newer fan of EPW, and I wasn't around at that time, but after I got to the building that night, I found out that Silas Mason, I remember, like, when I moved off to Alabama and I would look at results of indie shows in Mississippi, there was a Mason-Dixon line all the time. Well, then I found out, like, that was Silas Mason. He was part of that tag team in EPW back in the day before EPW got TV and all this. So, what a full circle moment for Silas to come back to the EPW arena wearing the NWA World title, defending it. And if anybody had a chance, to take that title, you got to feel like the problem Aaron Roberts is that guy. And he definitely was a problem, and he gave Silas all he wanted in that match. And, I enjoyed it. How did you feel? I mean, you're talking about two of the biggest guys you're going to see square off in an EPW ring right there.
Yeah, going just to backtrack just a little, you talking about having wrestled in EPW before. That was something that, like, I didn't really know, but I caught on to it a little bit because I saw, like, in some of his social media posts, he was like returning to Booneville or whatever after he said something like returning after all these years or something. And then when I did my interview with him, he just straight up said, he's like, you probably don't know this. He's like, but I got my start around here. Like I'm from here, and I said, I didn't know that, that's what's cool. And that was something that it just kind of resonated with me. I was like, yeah, this is a full circle moment. And this should be looked at by your Aaron Roberts and a lot of these guys who have huge potential, that this guy came from this area. There's no reason why you can't. You put in the work and keep working. There's no reason why you can't make it there. And, there's a lot of guys and girls there that can make it very, very far, I think. But back to the actual match, I'll drop the motivational speech. Back talking about the match, it was a great match. I enjoyed every bit of it. I had where I was sitting, I was like the very first seat where they come out, when they do their entrances to come out. So I had a great view of them coming out, and I've talked to them up close. And I'll tell you this much: I've interviewed Aaron Roberts, I've interviewed Silas Mason, stood right next to them, shook their hand, talked to them. But these guys felt 10 feet tall when they walked through the curtain.
Yeah.
They looked 10 feet tall when they walked through. They looked twice as big. They look meaner. They look stronger. They look like superheroes or whatever coming out.
Yeah.
Like they look larger than life. And seeing them get in the ring and starting that the very beginning, doing a little test of strength thing, and Silas is kind of cat and mousing with them, and then the tension builds and then it finally hits and they go. And it was just it's like that very classic, it's like classic feel of a match. Like it just felt like there was no dead spots. Everything flowed together. I was entertained through the whole match. Had me thinking for a second Aaron Roberts was about to pull it off. And then, all it takes is one bounce off the ropes and a thrill ride and it's over.
Yeah, and that's one of those moves that can come out of nowhere, and it looks like you said, you think Aaron's got it in hand, and next thing you know, he's down for the count. But a heck of a match. That moniker that Silas has, the biggest man that ever lived. it sounds kind of silly when you hear it, but then when you see him standing in that ring, like you said, he feels larger than life. You're like, I don't know, maybe he is, but yeah, we'll be taking a look here on this episode at your interview with Silas from a few weeks back at EPW. So folks can check that out, and we'll also check out the interview you did with Marco Harris a while back on this episode as well. So it's always fun to talk to Marco. Now, one more thing I want to touch on before we go, because we talked about this on the first episode, but we just kind of alluded to it because it hadn't aired yet, and you saw it from the crowd, but now you saw it on television. A lot of people are talking about this promo that Dorian Vane cut at the beginning of the show when the order came out. You heard it in person. We talked about how it came off, but then to hear it again, see it on TV, see him up close through the camera. I was sitting like 10 feet away from him. Having watched it on television, how do you feel about that promo now?
It's even better. I mean, because where I was sitting, kind of didn't have the best view of him because the whole order's right there, but like I could hear him, and you can. I mean, there's a difference because you can hear that it's more raw in person. You hearing it and stuff, but when I watch it and do my clips and I watch the show and I clip it and everything, and watching it where he's like looking dead in the camera and he looks like he's looking like right at you, telling you who he is, and being able to like pull all that together and tie it in to what he's doing with Aaron Roberts, because obviously Aaron is looking to challenge him, trying to get his way into that title picture to challenge him, and Dorian's kind of trying to push him back. He's mad that he didn't get the chance at Silas Mason. He thinks Aaron stole that opportunity from him. And like we said the last time, touched on his real life stuff. I had no idea about
I didn't either.
Combat veteran. I had no idea about any of that. And so that really resonates with me, seeing somebody like that, whether what he is on TV or not, you got to give him his respect, and thank him for his service. Because I mean, it sounds like he gave more than a lot of people, and then I know a lot of people have given a lot more for our country, and he's put his body on the line for us. He's putting it in the ring now for us, and he's putting on some great promos, I think, and he's only getting better and better. I've said it. I feel like I've just complimented him all week because I've been doing a series for Black History Month. He was like this day 2 or 3, and I was complimenting him. And there was the clip with him doing his promo, and I was like, man, so he's got to mess up or something soon because he's gonna get a big head, thinking that I'm just his biggest fan. So I got to start booing him or something.
Yeah, I shared your video, and like he came back and commented on it. And
yeah,
and
he's like, "You're right. Yeah,
you're right. I am." But I've talked about that. There's an interview I got coming out this Monday with K Swiss, and we talked about it, and I even talked about it on this show with another guest. But I can't say it enough. Obviously Dorian Vane, the character, felt some kind of way about Aaron Roberts getting the NWA World title match over him. He's the EPW champion. Why is Aaron Roberts getting this title shot? That makes sense. But to take that and blend it in with reality, his real background and the real reasons he thinks he's earned it, that was a side of him we haven't seen. And I think maybe that's the missing element. Like, don't get me wrong, he's been great at promos. Dorian, I've always complimented him every time I've talked about him. And he's, like I said, whatever it is, he has it. And, in multiples, he has it. But every big star, your Austins, your Rocks, all these different people, you go back and hear them look back on their career and they go, when I really started being myself and turned it up, that's when everything started to work. I feel like, I've said this earlier, that people are going to look back at this promo where this is where the switch flipped and Dorian connected the head of state, the character, or whatever you want to say, and the real guy, and they came out in that promo. And I think it's really, and he may bite it the next time we have a show. He may make us all look stupid. I don't think he will, but man, I was 10 feet away, and I looked at Joey afterwards like, wow. Like, I felt that, dude. Like, that was real, and everybody was talking about it in the dressing room. So, I can't wait to see Dorian and Aaron Roberts step in the ring. That's going to be, whenever it happens, however it happens, it's going to be a heck of a match. Now, there's going to be a lot of people waiting to see it. And so, before we get out, I do want to say you made mention of it there, but yeah, man, you got a great thing going on for Black History Month. Each and every day you're featuring somebody there. Tell everybody where they can find that and who you've talked about so far as we're here. As we record this is on the 5th.
Okay, yeah. So today for the 5th, I did KJ Rocket, the first woman of the month. There's going to be plenty more women. I'm trying to get as even as I can, men and women, but I just thought it's something I had thought about a few weeks ago because I just feel it's important, just anyway. But also, just kind of the climate sometimes within like the internet wrestling community, and how there's some bigger promotions that seem to not acknowledge the month, and a lot of people talk about it. And I just got to thinking, I was like, a lot of my favorite wrestlers are a part of this community. And I like talking about them, and here's another chance to talk about them even more, make sure people know about them, because as great as I think some people are, there's people who haven't heard of them. There's people who've never heard of Stone Cold, even as big a star as he is. People don't know. There's somebody who doesn't know who that is. And so that's just like Marco Harris was day one, Dorian Vane. Let's see, I did Tim Bosby, Bashan Harvey, and KJ Rocket was 5 today. And then I have a few more that I've already recorded. And then I'm like every couple of days, I'll record a few, and I'm taking in suggestions. Dorian, he commented, gave me a few suggestions. I'd already had them on the list, but like, I appreciate, like, that's the thing is like, I went through, I was just like, are there 28? I mean, there's going to be people I'm going to have to leave off the list unless I just like extend it into March or something.
I figured Dorian's like, talk about me 3 more days throughout the month.
Yeah.
No, but that's an awesome thing you're doing, man. And over at Retro Wrestling Archive, we're doing something similar. Obviously not every day of the month, but the first one we dropped yesterday about Bobo Brazil, a guy who was a trailblazer and did a lot for the business and a lot for African Americans in the business. And there's people who have no idea who he is, and it's through no fault of their own. He's from an era there's not a lot of footage of. There's not a lot to see. And so, we're going to try to do some more of those articles throughout the month and try to let people learn about folks that's just, like I say, it's not their fault. They're just from another era, but they're equally important. Without Bobo Brazil, there's not a Rock or a Booker T or Ron Simmons winning the world title. So I think it's important for both wrestling fans and wrestlers to know about these people who helped set the table that they're getting to partake in today. So really cool you doing that, man, and I appreciate you doing this. And tell everybody at Roman McPeak, right? That's pretty much where they can find you on all social media, correct?
Yep, at Roman McPeak everywhere, except for Instagram. It's at Roman McPeak 1. But I mean, you just search up Roman McPeak, and it'll pop up my name, or Roman McPeak Wrestling or something, or interview or whatever. It'll pop me up. I'm on all the major places: TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, X, Threads. I have an email. Email me. I don't know. Whatever.
There you go. Roman's out there. He's doing good work and a lot of great stuff for EPW, but he covers a lot of other promotions and wrestlers too. So go check all of it out. Reach out to him. Let him know that you're watching. Hey, we're back here on Inside EPW. Gene Jackson backstage with the champ, the man himself, the head of state, Dorian Vane. Dorian, on this very show right now, I've already talked to a couple people, and all anybody can talk about on the show, off the show, on the internet is what a great promo you had at the last show, back the night of the world title match. What a great, they say you have leveled up and blown everybody's minds. What do you have to say about all this praise you're getting for that promo?
First off, they should be praising me in the first place. You want to talk about something that's a good promo? I tell people my real life thoughts. This is how I really feel. This is how I really think when it comes to everything to do around here in EPW. Do people understand that? I've been the guy for forever. Ever since I set foot here, I've been the guy. It took y'all that long to realize it. Ain't my fault. The real issue is why people want to disrespect me and mingle in my business. Aaron Roberts, for example. Mims, for example. Why do people want to mingle into my affairs? I don't understand it. That's a level of disrespect that I'm not willing to deal with. Do you understand me? So, disrespect has zero tolerance here in the order. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be dealt with very, very soon.
Relive the glory days of Memphis wrestling with the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. Each week, we go back in time to review USWA Championship Wrestling from the 1990s, episode by episode. Join us for watch-alongs, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive interviews with people who were there and lived it. Whether you grew up watching it or you're discovering it for the first time, this podcast is your ringside seat to Memphis wrestling history. It's all a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Listen now at USWApodcast.com.
Hey, Gene Jackson back here on Inside EPW, and I'm standing here with the man right now. They call him the Playmaker. Zay, you've done a lot here in EPW, and I know you've been, kind of seemed like you've been a little upset lately. You got a little more of a mean streak to you than even before. Like, maybe a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, maybe you got something to prove. What's going on with you, man?
Well, yeah, definitely there's a chip on my shoulder, and there's a point to prove. And the point to prove is nobody in this company, nobody at EPW is better than me. Nobody's better than the Playmaker. And I'm out here to send any statement to anybody, any way I got to. If I got to hurt you, let it be. That I'm the very best and nobody's stopping me. That's my point to prove.
Pretty clear point. Well, Zay, we thank you for your time, and we'll keep an eye on the Playmaker.
Oh, you better keep an eye on the Playmaker.
Right, thank you.
EPW Wrestling.
All right, we're back here on Inside EPW, and I'm joined by Neil Taylor, and we're going to watch. Jax is really loud, so I'm just going to cut that volume all the way down. And here we are at last year's event in Union Center, and James Ellsworth is here to challenge Marco Harris for the EPW heavyweight title. And James Ellsworth has been somewhat of a regular, not like a weekly regular, but he's been to EPW quite a bit over the last couple of years.
Kind of a semi-regular, yeah. James has been to EPW quite a few times. And, man, look at this production. This just looks incredible.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know it'd be a pain, but boy, like if you could be there every week.
Oh my God. I just wish I had this production every week, and that's a goal, by the way.
Yeah, I got you.
Man, those video walls I never realized how incredibly expensive those things are. They're ridiculously expensive.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Ellsworth doesn't have his buddy Gilbert with him this time.
No.
Marco doesn't have to contend with that.
No, that's such a weird thing, because Ellsworth and Gilbert are actually like neighbors. So yeah, they're like best friends. They're big football guys. They're big. What is Baltimore Ravens? Yeah, they're big Ravens fans. So they go tailgating and stuff all the time. And at one point, the most viewed clip on our YouTube channel was when Gilbert came and did the spear on James, which was probably one of my top 5 moments ever of EPW TV. Was having Gilbert, and we did the we did the whole entrance and everything. It was just awesome.
Yes, I was there that night, and watching that entrance come together was just it was one of my favorite things to be on hand for. It was fun.
We had sparklers and everything, but we were afraid we'd catch something on fire, so we didn't do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it wasn't as big as the plans originally were, but there were reasons for that.
Yeah.
Man, Marco Harris is a guy who has really, I mean, he gets around. He works for a number of promotions, but he's really broken out here in EPW in the last couple of years. When he first came on the scene, did you realize what you had in Marco, or did it just kind of over time you start seeing, man, there's more to this guy. Let's turn him loose.
It was kind of dribs and drabs. Like he came in with Jason Genesis, who's part of the initiative. He was actually trained by Jason Genesis. And he came in with another guy named Perky Wheel that was at EPW for a little while. He came with those. I mean, he literally just rode along with those guys. And, we would put him in matches and just kind of, watch to see what he could do or whatever. And then, man, he started just having these incredible matches with everybody. And that's when it kind of hit us. It's like, we've kind of got something here. And, we handed him the ball, and man, he ran with it, and he is became he's definitely become a staple here in the Mid-South, not just EPW. I mean, he's a huge part of EPW also, but neighboring promotions as well. And he's had a lot of eyes on him too.
Yeah, for sure. Like I remember seeing him when he first come in. He was one of those guys, kind of like you're saying, like you're like, okay, well that he's in great shape and he's having a good match, but nothing that really stood out over everybody else. And then, I got busy and didn't come to the show for a long time. Didn't even really get to see the show for a long time. And then I popped back in, and I'm like, holy cow! Like Marco Harris is having these incredible matches, and he's over like Rover. Like my God. I told Roman last week, I said, I came to Mantachi, and Marco comes out in Mantachi wearing a Mustangs jersey, and I said, I don't know that John Cena could have walked out and got a bigger reaction in Mantachi, Mississippi than Marco Harris did.
Yeah, it was big. They love Marco in Mantachi. They love him everywhere, but especially in Mantachi. This match here in particular, I guess to give you just a little smidge behind the curtain, James was excited for this match because he was excited to work with Marco. But when it came match day, James is actually about half sick here. So he was a little bit concerned about, making sure that he can make Marco look as good as he is because he was under the weather. He didn't feel good. He could barely breathe. I think he may have even had a fever during this. But the match it came off really well, and I think it definitely did Marco justice.
It did, and that's one thing. I don't want to kill Ellsworth's gimmick here, but consummate professional. Like
oh my gosh,
I know behind the scenes he's been a big help to you with booking different people and making contacts and everything. Just a really great guy.
Oh, he really is. He's a really good guy. We talk probably once a week, and at least once every 2 weeks, probably at minimum. There's Dorian Vane, man. That guy don't look like $1 million, does he?
Boy, I tell you what. You always hear that term "it," and nobody really can ever say exactly what it is. But Dorian Vane has it for sure.
Then Eli Knox.
This jerk.
Yeah, really.
In, and he's come into his own really, especially in the last few months. He was good back here, but I mean, I've been really impressed with what I've been seeing out of him in the last few months. Like I say, he's coming into his own. And he's not only got it in the ring, but he's really starting to own that persona, and his promos are getting better. And Dorian Vane, he cut a promo at a recent TV tape, and where I felt he really leveled up.
Sweet Chin Music, there it is. That's
there
the three.
It was.
Wow. Or Sweet No Chin Music.
Sweet No Chin Music, and we have a new EPW Heavyweight Champion. That's right, folks. When you look down the roster of EPW champions, former Smackdown superstar who held, was it 3 victories over AJ Styles? I think it was?
3 victories over AJ Styles. Been in the ring with John Cena. Man, he was actually the first ever women's Money in the Bank winner. His whole list of accolades. Yeah. Man, he was a feature match at WrestleMania. I mean, a lot of people don't give James all the credit that he deserves, but man, James has done a lot of stuff. Had been in the business for like 25 years. He was there for, I think he told me he was there for 16 before he ever got the WWE shot.
Wow.
And then, man, he's definitely, he's made it count.
Yeah, he's a success story. He's one of those people that, people thought, oh, this is just some local guy that showed up and got beat up by Braun Strowman and fell ass backwards into a job. Like, no, man. And he had been around for years and years and had made a name for himself.
And Vince McMahon was the one that liked him. It wasn't Bruce Pritchard or anybody else. It was like Vince loved him. Wow. Because he just loved that he just got the shit whipped out of him, and you just, I mean, to be around James, you just have to love him. But yeah,
you can just picture that. Vince McMahon's like, look at him, that's sack of shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can just see him laughing in creative meetings as they were coming up for all these different plans for all the fun stuff they did with him. But he's been able to go to the Indies and have a whole second half of his career off of it, and it led to the EPW Heavyweight Championship. So that's probably at the top of his resume these days when he's reading off the things he's done.
Oh, I'm sure it is. And at some point, we'll have to go back and watch their rubber match from Crossroads Clash, which was really, really good.
We certainly will. At different times, I'll have some of the different EPW stars here to watch their own matches and kind of tell me about them. But at other times, I want to get you in here and hear your take on it. And then, like you say, some of the little fun behind-the-scenes tidbits of things and how we got there and things like that. So there it is. And, again, that's all building up to this year's version of the big event in Union Center. It is right here, Saturday, March the 7th. There it is, Union Center. I kept clicking on it. It wouldn't come up. You've dealt with StreamYard. You know how it is. It's either really good or awful. And tonight we're hovering in between the two. But mark it down, Saturday, March 7th. He dropped the bomb last time he was here. He let us know Double A is coming, and he's bringing his boy with him. And that's not all the surprises. There's more to come, so mark that date down. Make your plans to be there. It's going to be another big one.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, let's go. I don't know what comes next, but I couldn't care less. I refuse to feel stressed. There's no fear in my chest. Hit a boom with my steps. Walk away from the pain I've been through. This feeling I'm feeling is brand new. This is the moment I break through.
Hey, Gene Jackson back for Inside EPW, and right now I'm joined by the one and only DDT, Diana Taylor. Diana, you recently was involved in something on EPW television that just lit the fans up. Everybody went nuts. Eli Knox is out there shooting his mouth off about he's the Apex champion and nobody can challenge him. He's turned away every challenger, and here you come. And the place went nuts. Tell me how it felt to get in there and just whoop up on Eli Knox.
Look, so that was one of the greatest feelings I ever had, because I'll tell you something. They don't believe that us as women can do the things that they do.
They were laughing
At him.
I mean, Jimmy and him were laughing. When you first walked out, they're in the ring cackling like it's, this is going to be a joke. And then
Jimmy's a joke, okay?
Well, he got distracted by Snickers bar a couple weeks ago.
And Twinkies, so, I mean, that's it. But it was great. It was great to be able to prove myself in this business. And Eli, he might have pretty hair, but he can't back that up.
This is YouTube. I've got to put this over. When you told him he had prettier hair than you before the match, I was sold already.
Look, he does have really nice hair, but it only goes so far.
Yeah. Sometimes it works against him, but that, the order always gets involved. That's the reason they have all those titles, because when they get in trouble, somebody interferes, or they
like that Dorian.
Like Dorian, like Jimmy.
Dorian was there.
Jimmy came out from behind the announce booth and decided to manage all the champions because they already had half the belts. He just had to add on the tag belts. But I'm assuming you're not done. That somewhere along the way you'll probably find your way to him again, right?
Oh, we'll circle back real soon.
That's what we wanted to hear, and that's the kind of stuff you only get here on Inside EPW. Hey, EPW fans, check out Retro Wrestling with Gene Jackson, episode number 42, for my interview with the one and only K-Swiss. That's right, for just a little over an hour of a conversation I had with K-Swiss. We talked about a lot of different things. We talked about how he got into the wrestling business, how long he's been in the wrestling business, some of his trainers and mentors over the years, and what it's like having evolved into being a trainer and mentor himself. Plus, a lot of fun conversations, a little bit of behind-the-scenes talk from the commissioner about different things in EPW. It's a very interesting conversation, and it's maybe a side of K-Swiss you've never seen or heard. It's worth checking out. If you want to hear it, go to retrowrestlingarchive.club, or you can check out the video version over on youtube.com/@RetroWrestlingArchive. It's episode number 42, Retro Wrestling with Gene Jackson with K-Swiss. Gene Jackson back here on Inside EPW. I had an opportunity to speak with Dorian Vane earlier, Aaron, and he's very upset that he, as the EPW champion, didn't get that world championship match against Silas Mason. And I guess you already know that because him and the Order stuck their nose in your business. And I want to get your thoughts on that.
If Dorian Vane deserved a championship match against the NWA World Champion, he would have been in that match. The only reason he's still the EPW Heavyweight Champion standing right now today is because I haven't got a shot. You see, Dorian, I said it before, I'll say it again. I've got two things on my mind. That's revenge and championships, and it just so happens that whooping your ass checks both of those boxes. You see, Aaron Roberts is the bad man. Aaron Roberts is the problem, and Aaron Roberts, you know it, Gene. Ethan holding the camera knows it, is the future EPW Heavyweight Champion.
The champ has a huge problem, and it's bad man 8, Aaron Roberts. Thanks for talking to us, man.